The story begins in Malaysia, where a man named Borhan, who isn't completely stable in his mind, is digging through a trash can, searching for something. At this moment, he's talking on the phone with his favorite actress, but the call suddenly cuts off when a group of thieves attacks a young woman nearby. Angered by this interruption because he couldn't continue his conversation, Borhan loses his temper. But then it's revealed that the phone he was using wasn't even real. It was nothing more than a box with a fake screen and buttons. Who he was actually talking to, nobody knew. The thieves notice Borhan and begin mocking him. Soon after, they attack him too, thinking they could easily beat up this crazy man. But if Borhan had forgotten everything else in life, there was one thing he hadn't forgotten: how to fight. With ease, he takes down all the thugs one by one. After the fight, Borhan goes to check if the girl is okay, but to his surprise, she pulls out a gun from her bag, points it at him, and warns him not to come any closer. Then she immediately runs away. At that exact moment, an ambulance from the mental hospital arrives. The hospital staff chases after Borhan because once again, he had escaped from the facility. Borhan tries to run, but in the middle of the street, they catch him and drag him back to the hospital. Meanwhile, local news reports highlight the rising crime in the area. At the center of this chaos is a massive crime syndicate led by the ruthless Shamsher and his right-hand man, Veera. But the syndicate receives a major blow when Inspector Singh kills Veera during an operation. In an interview, Inspector Singh vows that he will wipe this syndicate out completely. Shamsher, however, makes it clear he will never give up his rule over the city. The next morning, Borhan is back in the hospital. His psychiatrist, Dr. Malini, calls him in for therapy. She asks him about his past, but Borhan can only remember one thing: that he was once found inside a lake, wounded by a gunshot. Dr. Malini encourages him to try harder. "You can do this, I believe in you. Remembering your past is the only way to cure your illness," she says. With great effort, Borhan begins to recall fragments of his childhood. He remembers that when he was a boy, his parents had sold him. He was taken, along with other children, to an old warehouse. There, Borhan met a young Shamsher who soon became his friend. But one night, a masked man named Ahmad arrived. He killed all the criminals and freed the children. From that day on, Ahmad became Borhan's hero. All the rescued children were sent to an orphanage, and over time, each of them was adopted. Everyone except Borhan and Shamsher. Then Ahmad himself came back, and he took both boys under his wing. He began training them in secret. But one day, Shamsher betrayed his own family. He killed Ahmad and shot Borhan in the head. As soon as Borhan remembered this painful past, he completely lost control of himself. In a sudden rage, he advanced toward Dr. Malini. Just then, Malini's older brother, Inspector Singh, arrived in time to step in to protect her. Moments later, Borhan calmed down again, acting as if nothing had happened at all, and quietly walked away.
Inspector warned Malini to be cautious, but she told him, "You're in more danger than I am." Still, Singh was determined. He refused to back down from his fight against the crime syndicate. That same day, Shamsher arrived at the institution with his security guard Zaim. He threatened the director, Dr. Ramu, and demanded the records of 2 patients. Later that evening, Borhan was relaxing in his room when he suddenly noticed Shamsher taking 2 patients away. Burning with vengeance, Borhan broke the handle of his door and rushed after him. To disguise himself, he pulled clothes from a drying line and fashioned a makeshift superhero costume, covering his face with a piece of cloth and using a bedsheet as a cape. When Zaim spotted him, he told Shamsher, "I'll handle this one myself." Shamsher then left, heading back to his base. What Zaim didn't realize was that Borhan was no ordinary patient. He was an incredible fighter. In no time, Borhan twisted Zaim's arm and threw him down to the ground. Hearing the sound of gunfire, Shamsher rushed back. Spotting Borhan, he immediately hurled a knife at him. But Borhan effortlessly caught the blade between his hands. Furious, Shamsher pulled out his gun and opened fire. But Borhan's speed allowed him to dodge the bullets one after the other. Eventually, Shamsher gathered his men and retreated. Borhan, however, quietly followed them all the way to a city diner. There, Shamsher ordered the 2 patients to change their clothes and go inside to place an order. But the moment they stepped in, Shamsher pulled out a small device and pressed a button, detonating a bomb that blew up the entire diner. Borhan witnessed everything from a distance. The blast sent a sharp piece of metal flying his way. He caught it and later carved it into his own personal weapon. Minutes later, the police arrived to inspect the scene of the explosion. Stuck on the walls nearby were several posters, sending a chilling message. This was a warning from the crime syndicate. Challenging them would come at a deadly price. The next day, Inspector Singh launched his investigation. He began at the mental hospital, questioning patients about what had really happened. The patients told him about a mysterious man who looked like Batman and fought off all the thugs. Singh dismissed the claim as nonsense. But he didn't stop there. He asked Dr. Malini if any of the patients had combat training. Hearing this, Malini immediately remembered Borhan's story. She looked around and saw Borhan sitting nearby, trying hard to hide himself.
For now, Malini chose to keep this secret. She feared that if Borhan got dragged into all of this, his fragile mental state would only deteriorate further. The problem was that Borhan had made up his mind. He was going to reach his brother Shamshir no matter what. To do this, he decided to investigate Dr. Ramu. That night, when Dr. Ramu returned home, he discovered a masked man hiding inside his office. Startled, Ramu quickly tried to pull out his gun, but the masked man grabbed his hand and demanded to know where is Shamshir. The masked man even tried to deepen his voice, imitating Batman's tone. But instead, his throat gave out, and he started coughing loudly. Dr. Ramu instantly recognized him. It was Borhan. However, seeing Borhan's determination, Ramu understood that he was serious about reaching the syndicate's boss, so he decided to help him. He explained, if you want to get to Shamshir, you'll first have to disrupt the gang's operations. Hearing this, Borhan vowed to break every bone of anyone who stood in his way, but he also realized he needed a proper outfit for this fight. Over the next few days, Borhan kept battling gang members. During this time, he made use of the sewing classes at the institution and crafted a superhero-like costume for himself. One night, we see Borhan dressed in a red suit with a black hood, taking down an entire gang. In the process, he even rescued a young boy who had been held captive. Impressed by Borhan's fearless fighting style, the boy asked, "Who are you?" Borhan hid his real identity and simply said he was from Keluang city. Soon, the story of this masked vigilante spread across the internet. People began calling him Keluang Man. His popularity skyrocketed. Comics, t-shirts, even soft drinks were being sold under his name. Inspector Singh, however, grew more and more frustrated. The last thing he wanted was a masked savior interfering with his investigation. One night, Keluang Man ambushed a group of gang members. He grabbed one of them and asked, "Where is Shamshir?" But the thug managed to escape after hitting Borhan on the head with his stick. This sudden blow triggered new memories in Borhan's mind, memories of his brother and of his father. Meanwhile, that thug rushed back to the crime syndicate's base where he met Shamshir and a strange, mysterious man. That man revealed himself to be the true leader of the syndicate. One of the syndicate leaders had a fake eye. He ordered his gang to bring Keluang Man to him because he wanted to meet him personally. The next morning, Borhan met Dr. Malini again at the hospital. Malini strongly suspected that he was Keluang Man, but instead of confronting him, she continued the therapy session. She asked Borhan to close his eyes and imagine his favorite place. When Borhan closed his eyes, he found himself standing in a field. There, he saw the image of his father, Ahmed. Overcome with emotion, Borhan confessed that he wanted to take revenge on Shamshir. But Ahmed gently explained to him that instead of revenge, start a new life. After saying this, Ahmed walked away. Borhan hugged his father tightly, happy that he got to see him again. But in reality, he was hugging Dr. Malini. Embarrassed, Borhan quickly let go. Still, he thanked Malini and told her that now he was truly ready to face his destiny and take his revenge. Soon after, Borhan escaped from the hospital once more. He returned to his old secret base, where he found his fighting gear. Wearing a helmet, a bulletproof vest, and a cape designed to work like a glider, Borhan was finally ready. With this, he created his true superhero costume, fully embracing the identity of Keluang Man. Now, his next mission was to destroy the syndicate's second largest gang that operated out of a warehouse. This gang was smuggling illegal goods inside containers labeled as panda toys. Suddenly, a sharp iron boomerang flew through the air and smashed into the power box, shutting down the entire warehouse's electricity. From the ceiling came strange noises, followed by the terrified screams of gang members outside. Panic spread. The gang quickly armed themselves and rushed to the gate to see what was happening. And then, out of nowhere, Keluang Man stormed inside and launched a fierce attack on the gang leader. But in the middle of the fight, Keluang Man slipped and crashed down onto the stacked goods on the platform. Immediately, the gang raised their guns and opened fire. Dodging bullets, Keluang Man counterattacked, taking them all on by himself. Even though he was alone, Keluang Man defeated the entire gang with ease. Only one thug remained,
armed with a knife. After a brief scuffle, Keluang Man crushed him too, finishing the last of them. But then something bizarre happened. Keluang Man suddenly imagined himself inside a movie set. Furious, he started slapping the very people making this film. He slapped the cameraman, the makeup artist, the director, and even the scriptwriter. When it came time to hit the producer, the crew held him back and dragged the producer away, calling in a stuntman to fight instead. This was all just a fragment of Borhan's broken mind. He was imagining himself as the star of a movie. In reality, he was still fighting the gang.
Back in the warehouse, only the gang leader was left. Just as the two prepared to fight, Inspector Singh and his team stormed in. The gang leader called for backup, and soon, a violent shootout erupted between the police and the syndicate inside the warehouse. Amid the chaos, the gang leader tried to escape, but Keluang Man tackled him to the ground and demanded, "Where is Shamsher?" Terrified, the leader revealed the name of a building where Shamsher was waiting. At that very moment, Inspector Singh arrived and ordered Keluang Man to surrender. But before they could act, both of them were surrounded by the gang. Left with no choice, Singh had to fight alongside the masked vigilante. The two joined forces, taking down wave after wave of gangsters. Keluang Man unleashed his ferocious fighting skills, defeating enemies one by one, while Inspector Singh climbed onto a heavy lifting machine and rained down bullets from above. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Keluang Man managed to defeat most of the gang on his own. But suddenly, one thug pulled out a grenade and hurled it toward the inspector. Luckily, Keluang Man quickly threw his boomerang, deflecting the grenade. But disaster struck. The grenade landed among the other explosives stored inside, setting off a massive chain reaction. The entire warehouse erupted in flames. Thinking fast, Keluang Man dragged Inspector Singh into an underground storage unit and slammed the lid shut. They waited inside as the inferno raged above them. In the quiet that followed, Singh urged Keluang Man to surrender, but the hero refused. Singh then spoke from his own regrets. "This path only costs innocent lives. I once tried to solve crime outside the law myself, and many died because of it. I still live with that guilt." Keluang Man thought deeply about his words, but to him, the truth was clear. Without him, even more people would die. The two of them helped each other climb up, supporting one another's backs until they finally emerged out of the ruined warehouse. But as soon as they surfaced, Singh wasted no time. He arrested Keluang Man and called in the rest of his officers. But the vigilante was always one step ahead. While Singh was distracted, Keluang Man had already freed himself from the handcuffs. In a swift move, he tied Singh to a pipe and escaped. Now free once more, he set out to find his brother. And soon, he spotted Shamsher standing atop a building. The moment he saw Keluang Man, Shamsher hurled a knife at him. But just like in the hospital, Keluang Man caught it with both hands. Looking at his suit, Shamsher realized the truth. This masked man was his brother, Borhan. Shamsher had believed his brother was long dead, but here he was, alive. Staring at him, Shamsher asked, "How did you survive?" Borhan stayed silent. He wasn't here for explanations. He was here for revenge, for the death of his father. And so the final clash between the two brothers began. Both were equally powerful, masters of combat. At one point, Shamsher kicked Keluang Man back, sending him flying, but Borhan quickly got back on his feet and rejoined the fight. Fueled by rage, Borhan accused him, "You killed our father. You wounded me so badly that I lost my mind." Shamsher tried to defend himself, to explain, but Borhan refused to listen. He attacked relentlessly, not giving his brother a chance to speak. Shamsher pulled out a knife and the two exchanged fierce blows, but Keluang Man slowly gained the upper hand. He overpowered Shamsher, knocked him to the ground, then lifted him up and dangled him over the edge of the building, threatening, "Should I drop you?" Just as Borhan was about to let go, Inspector Singh and his team arrived, shouting at him not to kill under any circumstances. But instead of pulling his brother up, Keluang Man jumped with him. Shamsher fell into a sewer below, but Keluang Man spread his cape, turning it into a glider, and flew off into the night. Hours later, Borhan returned to his room. Relieved, he thought, "At least I survived another fight." But his moment of peace didn't last long. The entire syndicate stormed the hospital, attacking from behind. Their goal was simple: destroy everything and hunt down Borhan. The hospital quickly went up in flames. Many patients died in the fire, while others were left badly injured. The gang pushed deeper inside, searching for Borhan, but instead they ran into Dr. Malini. They tried to grab her, but Borhan appeared just in time, taking them all down in under a minute. Now, Malini was certain Borhan was Keluang Man, but he still tried to deny it, insisting, "We need to get out of here right now." Malini agreed, and as they escaped through the corridors, they ran into Inspector Singh, who was desperately trying to save the hospital. As the three hurried through, a gunman blocked their path and attacked Singh. To protect her brother, Malini fought back, striking the attacker with his own gun. After the fight, Singh told his sister to escape through the back while he stayed behind to help the remaining patients. Meanwhile, Borhan rushed to the dormitory. There, he spotted a grenade about to explode. He quickly dove behind a bed. When the smoke cleared, Borhan froze in shock. Standing before him was Ahmed, his father, alive. At first, Borhan thought it was another hallucination, but this Ahmed looked different. He had a fake eye. And then the truth came out. He declared himself the true leader of the crime syndicate.
Borhan was shaken, confused. But before he could react, his father kicked him hard, knocking him to the ground. That impact triggered yet another memory, how Shamsher had once betrayed him. And the truth became clear. Their father Ahmed had always been the one selling weapons. He had been secretly planning to become a gangster boss himself. That night, he had told both his sons, "You will join me in this business." But Borhan refused. He stood against his father. The confrontation escalated into a fight. Shamsher tried to stop them, not to kill, but just to end the conflict. He fired a shot, hoping to wound, but the bullet struck Ahmed in the eye. Borhan couldn't believe it. His brother had actually pulled the trigger on their father. But before Borhan could even pull out his gun, Shamsher fired another shot. The bullet grazed Borhan's head and he fell into the sea. When Borhan finally came to his senses, the truth was clear. He returned to reality and tried to stop his father, but he was too weak. Ahmed struck him down brutally. Even then, Borhan pleaded, "Father, please, let's leave all this behind. We can live a good life together." But Ahmed snarled, "Because of you, I lost my eye. It's your fault, and you will pay for it." He raised his gun, ready to fire again. At that moment, Inspector Singh burst in, guns blazing. He opened fire on Ahmed. Startled, Ahmed escaped before Singh could finish him off. Singh quickly carried Borhan to safety. But before they could breathe, Jami appeared, carrying a suspicious briefcase. Singh left Borhan in a safe spot and ran after Jami. When he caught up, Jami activated the briefcase, revealing a deadly pump mechanism with a countdown. Singh barely managed to leap out just as the explosion ripped through the area. The aftermath was devastating. Many were killed, many more wounded. Survivors turned their anger toward Borhan, blaming him for bringing this destruction upon them. Shamed and heartbroken, Borhan fled into the night. Later that night, Borhan sneaked into the hospital. He quietly entered Inspector Singh's room. Singh had survived but was badly injured. Borhan, overwhelmed with guilt, apologized. "I'm sorry for not listening to you. I don't even know how to fix this mess." He returned to his old hideout. There, he suited up once again as Keluang Man, this time for his final battle. Within minutes, he arrived at the syndicate's base, a massive port where illegal goods and dirty money were hidden inside giant containers. The entire place was surrounded by snipers, but Keluang Man was unstoppable. He used the containers as cover, moving in the shadows, taking down gangsters one by one. Gunfire echoed through the port. One henchman went to investigate and found several of his comrades lying on the ground, twisted in bizarre positions, defeated. As he searched for the cause, his eyes fell on a container wall. There, climbing upwards, was Keluang Man, carving his iconic symbol on the steel. The gangster tried to stop him, but Keluang Man slammed him hard against the wall. His lit cigarette fell, igniting the mark. Suddenly, the symbol of Keluang Man burnt bright across the port. When Ahmed saw the fiery emblem, his rage exploded. He ordered his men to attack. The battle raged on, but this time, Ahmed wasn't alone. Shamsher stood right beside him, watching his brother fight through the waves of gang members. He aimed his gun straight at our hero, but at the critical moment, he hesitated. That slight pause gave Borhan the chance to escape.
Now, between the containers, Keluang Man and Shamsher clashed head-on. Both brothers were equally skilled, giving each other a tough fight. Shamsher pulled out his dagger, but Keluang Man knocked it away with his boomerang and followed up with a powerful flying kick. Shamsher barely managed to hang on to the edge of a container, and instead of pushing him off, Borhan reached out his hand. He no longer wanted revenge. He wanted to pull his brother and father out of this world of darkness. Shamsher was stunned for a moment, and after years, the two brothers finally reunited. From a distance, Ahmad watched everything. Enraged, he pulled out a massive bazooka and fired at his own sons. As the rocket closed in, Shamsher pulled away from his brother and tried to run, but the explosion went off dangerously close to both of them. Minutes later, Keluang Man struggled to his feet. Part of his mask was burned. As he looked up, he saw Ahmad walking toward him. Weakened, the hero tried to fight back, but Ahmad kept striking him relentlessly. Just before Ahmad could finish him off, Shamshir hurled a knife from a distance, piercing Ahmad's shoulder. Infuriated, Ahmad pulled out his pistol and fired a barrage of bullets at his own son. Shamshir collapsed. Watching his brother die, Keluang Man was consumed by rage. Gathering every ounce of strength left, he rose for one final battle. Between heavy punches, Borhan shouted at his father, "I used to see you as a hero. All I ever wanted was your love, nothing else." But Ahmad coldly replied, "I only raised you to turn you into fighters." Then he landed a brutal punch. This time, Borhan caught his father's fist and shoved him back, declaring, "Yes, you made me a fighter, but I won't let you commit any more crimes." In a dramatic moment, the hero ripped off his mask and launched a furious assault. He slammed Ahmad into the chains and even tore out his fake eye. Rushing over, Borhan found Shamshir taking his final breaths. Tearfully, he apologized to his brother, and with his last strength, Shamshir died in Borhan's arms. Hours later, the police arrived and arrested Ahmad and the remnants of his men. Now, Keluang Man's legend spread even further. With Ahmad's crime syndicate destroyed, the reign of terror was finally over. The hospital was rebuilt, patients began returning, and life slowly came back to normal. Borhan kept on with his good deeds, and Keluang Man lived on, not as a shadow, but as the protector of his city. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.